Okay, guys, the new Fnaf trailer just dropped for the new Fnaf game, and I'm super excited to be sharing with you guys a new first look at all the new features, all the new gameplay, all the new characters, and all the new theories we've known to come and love from this series. So, first of all, we're gonna first hop into this trailer, and I'll pause and let you guys know all the secrets and the details. Okay, so first of all, this game's made by the Steelwood Studios, which is Scott Cawthon and the Steelwood developers, and they make all the FNAF games except for the first couple FNAF games. But I think they're making the new FNAF games, but not the first ones. But they're only making the new ones, and now they're making more. They always make the new FNAF games, and so it's nice to see Steelwood Studios making this new FNAF game. I'd like to see their spin on the FNAF genre. Okay, so that's a red eye there. That means this game's gonna be scary, guys. You heard it from me first. Game's rated S for scary on my scale. Usually the FNAF games are scary. Sometimes they're not that scary though, but sometimes they're really scary. And I think they usually try to make them scary, but they're usually trying to be scary games. And I don't really like scary games. So that's why I've never played a Five Nights at Freddy's game because I don't like scary games. But anyways, scary games. Here we go. Okay, this is a parking lot. This is where people mostly park their cars. But there's also a road and a drain here. If you remember from the FNAF 4 cutscenes, you kind of vomited the original mimic, which was Ennard. Ennard also rhymes with Edwin, so that's kind of a callback to the future of the new mimic's story, and that's why you can see this drain here at the very top. For the draining purposes, but also because you also vomit up exoskeletons into them many times throughout the series. It's a reference for the fans. There's a pothole, which might mean that this game takes place in Boston, or somewhere around that area. They usually have those there. Um, and yeah, there's like roads and such, which might indicate that this might be a street. But there's also arrows on the ground, which might mean that cars might be driving here, and also parking spaces. So expect to see a couple cars in this location. Okay, this appears to be a vehicle, and a little subtle feature of this vehicle is it says Fazbear on it. Freddy Fazbear is a Fazbear. There's also Bonnie Fazbear, Chica Fazbear, Toy Freddy Fazbear, Chica Fazbear, Foxy Fazbear, Freddy Fazbear, Night Marionette, and Sister Location. Um, so basically, the balloons there is a subtle nod and a reference to the Balloon Boy. He appears in some of the FNAF games, but not all the FNAF games, but maybe this FNAF game. He's going to be making a return, so get your hopes high and your expectations also high because the Balloon Boy will be returning in this FNAF installment. So that's Edwin, and he made the mimic. I don't know the details behind it, but I think he put the pieces together. And this looks like the Mimic store. Maybe like the Mimic shop? The Mimic quarters. This is all the things the Mimic can mimic. The Mimic can mimic many things, and that's one of the unique quirks that the Mimic has, is its ability to mimic things. So maybe we'll see some mimicking of things in this game. Hopefully. You know me, I really like playing FNAF games. I really hope the Mimic is in this one. Um, would love to see more of the Mimic storyline. Okay, let's go back. This is something very important. Um, so usually red means hot, but this time it's usually red at the end, which red means hot, but this is blue at the end. Blue means cold. This appears to be a generator, which they generate electricity and power, which can be useful in many situations. But it's blue this time. This might reference sister location because while a normal location would have red as hot, maybe the sister location has blue as hot. And another subtle nod for the fans. This is the same exact door from FNAF 1, believe it or not. These are the exact doors that were in the FNAF 1 sister location, and it's right here. I don't know how they got here. Hopefully they explain that. Maybe the mimic is mimicking the doors of the FNAF 1 location. That'd be a good one. That'd be a good one. Bravo, Scott Cawthon. There is a couch here and a bulletin board and a poster and a fan. The fan's a subtle nod to the FNAF games where there'd be fans there. It's also a reference to the fans of the FNAF game. It's kind of like a shout out for the fans. Appreciate you guys. There also appears to be a monitor. There's actually a couple of TVs there. Maybe you'll be able to watch TV and look at the monitors. That seems to be a reference to the earlier FNAF games when you could probably do the same. There's also a little creature on there, and also the time is 12, which FNAF games you usually enter the office at 12. So this is probably like those FNAF games where you entered the office at 12. Okay, we have just entered the office, and it looks like it's FNAF right now. You have your fan, you have your monitors. You'll probably have to look out for Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, and also Freddy Fazbear, and also the Mimic. Maybe the Mimic is mimicking the Fazbears. Who knows? That he was developing for us. That's not Freddy, that's not Fonny, that's not Fazbear. That's the Mimic from the Mimic. This might be a reference to the Mimic being in this game. I hope we can see more of the Mimic. We really haven't seen much of the Mimic yet, but I'm really hoping that the Mimic can make a return in this game. Maybe this is what the Mimic creature looks like now. Who knows? Maybe the Mimic's mimicking this creature, and it's not what it seems. It's a kind of prototype endoskeleton. That's Orville the elephant, who usually looks a bit different in the other FNAF games. Maybe this is the Mimic spin on it. Maybe the Mimic can't mimic it correctly, so the Mimic is mimicking this. Who knows? Maybe this is a new character. If this is a new character, then it's definitely not one of the old ones, because it doesn't really look like one of the old ones, so it could be a subtle nod to it being a new character. But we'll have to find out when the game releases, I guess. That might be Bonnie. I think that's Bonnie the Bunny. Bonnie the Bunny has appeared in every FNAF game. So it'd be weird if Bonnie the Bunny didn't appear in this one. Fun fact, Freddy doesn't even appear in all the FNAF games. Bonnie appears in more Freddy FNAF games than Freddy Fazbear himself. And that's because Bonnie Fazbear is Gamer Nation's ranked best Freddy Fazbear character. They released a subtle poll out there for the fans. And, yep, they ranked Bonnie number 1. That's the Mimic. I'm calling it right now. That's the Mimic. It appears to be some sort of duck. It looks like a duck to me. You see, like, the beak on it? I'm kind of experienced with this sort of stuff. And the Mimic and FNAF. And I think this is a duck. Okay, this looks like the underground. This might be a subtle nod to being underground and bricks. Sometimes bricks are what hold buildings up as like a foundation. This could be foundational. The bricks could be used as walls in this situation, and in this scenario, they could be the walls of this area. This pillar looks to be structurally important. Its lore importance we'll have to figure out later. But these pipes are also, they're usually in walls, but this time it's on the walls. Maybe you're in the walls in this situation. That appears to be um I'm not too sure what that character is. I've never seen that character before. It that could be Freddy, that could be Bonnie. They usually get new forms for these different games. Like there was Fazbear Freddy, and there was Funtime Freddy, and there was Rockstar Freddy, and there was Withered Freddy, and Toy Freddy. And so this might be a new Freddy variant. I would assume this would be like Long Arm Freddy. This could also be a reference to the um, Poppy Playtime series, where they do have characters that look like this. So maybe there could be a crossover in the future, and maybe this game is the crossover right now. Okay, you might have missed it right here, but I didn't at all. On the left, there appears to be a gerbil, um, a rodent type creature. This is probably an animatronic. It's probably the smallest animatronic we've ever seen. But it's there, and it's probably gonna have a jump scare. It's probably gonna try to kill you, like a lot of the animatronics trying to do. But maybe, in my theory, that's the mimic right now. It's trying to mimic a real creature, a real life creature from real life. But the mimic is just metal. The mimic doesn't have skin or fur, so it can't really mimic correctly. And it's going to be subtle, but you're going to be able to find out what the mimic is once it starts trying to, when it can't mimic any metal anymore and it tries to mimic real things. You're going to be like, that's not a real thing, that's the mimic from the mimic. That is one of the characters we saw earlier. Um, yep, we're seeing them again. One of the posters on the right has a phone number on it. You'll probably be able to make phone calls in this game. Probably gonna make phone calls to some really important people. Um, Usually you're able to call 911 in the games, and usually the police ending is the community's favorite. So we'll have to see what the police ending for this game is. So here is Huggy Wuggy again with their famous Huggy Wuggy arm. And it appears that this arm is able to be moved. So expect to see more arms and more movement in this game. And expect to see more of these animatronic characters, for sure. Okay, I thought it was going back up, but now I'm seeing something different. I don't think this is Freddy Fazbear anymore. This might be Babies from Fnaf. Um, this looks like a scary animatronic, so this might be a scary game. For all you horror fans out there, make sure to pre-purchase this new FNAF if you're looking for a new horror scary game out there. But this looks like a character I don't think I've seen before. So maybe they're making new characters for FNAF. This looks like a Smurf. They're adding the Smurfs to Five Nights at Freddy's. It's a crossover I wasn't expecting, but it really was due for them to make a crossover into real life. And this is a real life Smurf. So I assume this is Gargamel's workshop. Gargamel's trying to make a fake Smurf, like he did in the Smurf movie, where he made the gray Smurfs and he made Smurfette. And so he's probably going to try to inseminate this Smurf in order to make it a real Smurf. And you probably have to try to stop that. And that's why they call it the mimic, because he's trying to mimic a real Smurf, but that's not a real Smurf. Us Smurf fans, I'm a big fan of the Smurfs. I've never played Five Nights at Freddy's, but I've played a lot of Smurfs, and I can tell you something about Smurfs. They are blue, and they're not smurfing around. So if Gargamel tries to smurf up their village, let's just say things can get smurfed pretty quickly. Okay, the eyes are red right now. Um, this is actually orange. It's a reference to how red sometimes looks like orange, but sometimes orange looks like red. And you kind of have to find the in between where you're like, that's sometimes red, that's sometimes orange. I think this is orange. This is a reference to the movie Vertigo. Never watched it, but I expect to see more movie references and cultural references if we're referencing the Smurfs now. Um, yeah. So expect to see more Smurfs and more references. That's the elephant guy. I keep on seeing this guy, and he keeps on looking like an elephant. But this time an arms come off. Good that there's a first aid kit at the bottom there. Maybe you'll have to give him first aid because what if he's human and he's been stuffed into the costumes? Because they kind of get stuffed into the costumes in this games. That's what I'm kind of noticing about this game genre. Um, a lot of costumes, and a lot of people getting stuffed into them. This might be a haunted costume. This might be one of the haunted characters from the haunted costume game. And there looks to be this big machine. Maybe this big machine is a human machine, and it gives human life to the animatronics. We'll have to see. This is your hand from the game. This is a still. Usually the characters don't have arms and hands, but this is a direct, subtle reference to having an arm and a hand. Um, you're wearing a glove, which either means you're gonna be touching a lot of infected areas or areas that could hurt you. And if I know something about Five Nights at Freddy's, a lot of things are gonna try to hurt you. So maybe there's gonna be fighting mechanics, and you can punch and kick the animatronics, so you can fight back. You also seem to be wearing a lot of layers, so this might be in winter time. But there wasn't any snow at the beginning, but maybe there will be more snow. This is the elephant character I keep on seeing, and I'm seeing him again. And this looks to be a machine. I don't think we've seen this machine before. So this is a new entry into the FNAF series for you new FNAF fans who might have not seen anything FNAF before. Even I don't know what this is. It looks like a new FNAF machine. This is an animatronic from the animatronic Five Nights at Freddy's series. As you can notice, this appears to be the place from before, but everything looks completely different. There was monitors before, but there's no longer monitors. Maybe you get robbed in this game? Who knows? That blink and you miss it scene. Um, it looks like they interact with this object. And they crank it and move it around. And they're moving it around. And you don't really see that in FNAF that often, I'll have to say that. It's definitely a new addition to the series. This is Smurfs. But it's not orange eyes. So is this a real life Smurfs or is this the mimic Smurf? A lot of questions this game is given up and a lot of answers it's not giving. Let's just say. And there's a fish with teeth in the back wearing headphones. I don't understand that one. I'm going to be honest. I'm not often perplexed. I usually get things pretty easily. I don't get that. It's snowing. This is winter. You are cold. Heat mechanics, maybe? Maybe you'll have to heat the place up so you don't die of cold. That's Fanny from FNAF. I'm certain. This is a device that can be used to do many things. But it's out of order, so I don't know why you would like try to use your device on something that's out of order. Usually stuff that's out of order doesn't really work well when you try to device it. But who knows? This might be a new entry to the FNAF series. So we'll have to check out for all the new stuff in this FNAF game that we haven't seen before. HELPER. Oh, it stands for help. That stands okay. You might have missed this. H E HELPER helper terminal 0.000. This is welcome to show sub terminal. Please select an option below. Reset welcome show. Missing executive access. So you're not executive, but your tool has the power to welcome show. And the HE pull or terminal is probably something that you're going to be using pretty often. But it's only 0.00, so we probably are going to see more numbers in this game. That's a doctor robot. It's a doctor robot. There's also a robot with a mustache. Um, and there's also like a hand in the background. This is probably where they repair the animatronics. Hmm. We have not really seen this location much. I hope to see more of this location in the games. This is the rodent I was talking about earlier. It appears you wind it up, and I think it's gonna be mimicking it. The security office is actually a reference to the video games where you're usually in the security office. Maybe you'll be doing security in this game. Maybe you're a security worker in this game. Maybe. That's Freddy. Uh-huh. That's Freddy Fazbear. That is a big creature. Possibly a spider. That might be the biggest animatronic I've seen. I didn't know they made them that big, but something new with every game, I guess. This is a jump scare right now. This is one of the scary jump scares you can expect to see in this new Five Nights at Freddy's game. They got like a wig on like Beethoven. Perhaps this is a Beethoven-inspired animatronic? Who knows? Okay. The Mimic is going to be in this game, and I think this is concrete evidence for those who were suspecting otherwise. It's subtle, but there might be a Mimic in this game, and I hope to see more of the Mimic.
Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person. Thank you for being a valued member of the Fazbear team.
I don't know what these numbers mean. That's probably going to be like an access code to get into something secret in the games. We'll have to see when the game comes out. Let's see if they give us a release date. Alright, no release date. I hope it comes out soon, though. And believe me, when it comes out, I will be giving my full analysis on this game. Trust. This has been it for my analysis. If you like the video, and like the video. And I'll see you guys in the next video.